So you've decided to take the plunge into three-rail trains. Whether you have dreams of a large basement empire or just a circle of track around the Christmas tree, the hardest part is often just figuring out where and how to start. Hello again, this is Mike with another episode of Toy Train Tips and Tricks. For most of us in the hobby, the place to begin was the starter set. As the name implies, provides everything you need to begin your three-rail journey. A locomotive, rolling stock, track, a power supply, and sometimes additional structures or scenery items. The only other thing you need is the place to set up your empire, whether that's the floor, a temporary table, or a more permanent layout structure. There are a number of new starter set options from Lionel Trains and Home Improvement Center Menards, but these can be pricey, $300 or more in most cases. New sets have the advantages of having a warranty and a service department to back them up, and the knowledge that all of the items in the set will be compatible with one another. But that price tag may seem a bit steep, especially if you're not certain that trains will be a long-term hobby for you and your family. But there are also many second-hand starter sets available. The price is more attractive, usually coming in under $150, and sometimes as low as $25 or so. This is especially attractive if you don't know for sure if you, your kids, or your grandkids are going to catch the train bug. Many older sets contain most, if not all, of the items you're going to need to get started. The items in these sets are of comparable size and operating characteristics, so they operate well together, and of course, these sets are more budget-friendly. These sets are most often found lacking track or transformers, but these can easily be acquired from other sources. By the way, we are discussing conventional control train sets at this point. Lion Chief, DCS, and other remote systems have now been on the market long enough that some of these starter sets are now available in this price range. These sets have some unique issues that we will discuss at the end. Otherwise, these general principles still apply. The most common manufacturer you will find is, of course, Lionel Trains, but sets by Marx, MTH, Kusan, K-Line, and Williams, and even some others are also available. Regardless of manufacturer or era produced, the pricing of sets follows a particular pattern. The least expensive sets tend to feature a small diesel or 040 steam locomotive, often with DC-only operation, 2 or 3 cars, and a caboose. These items will typically be smaller than scale, feature plastic construction, and have no special operating features. Basically a short train and a circle or oval of track. Here are a few examples. I recently purchased this Lionel No. 6 1159 Midnight Flyer train set from 1981 that was sold exclusively at Toys R Us. All of the components of this set are not original to the box. The No. 8902 steamer has a 240 wheel arrangement and a DC motor. It is based on the Lionel No. 1001 steamer from 1948 that has been a staple in the very cheapest Lionel sets ever since. The box shows a Great Northern Scout-type boxcar with fixed doors. Instead, we have a somewhat rare Toys R Us No. 69388 boxcar that only came with this set. Also original to this set are the No. 69340 Illinois Central Gondola with 1 operating coupler and the Atlantic Coastline No. 69341 caboose with glow-in-the-dark windows. The seller also included the No. 69011 Great Northern Hopper, which is not a part of the original set. I paid $25 for this set, and while this particular set is usually priced higher to this due to the collector value of the boxcar and the original packaging, sets with similar locomotives, cars, and features can often be found in that $25 to $35 range. If you are just looking for a simple train for display or as a first set for a child, this could be a good option. Disclaimer: like any older toy, these second-hand train sets may have features that do not comply with contemporary product safety standards. Children should never be permitted to operate these products unattended. The downside to this set is that it lacks track, which can be acquired inexpensively, and the transformer and motor feature DC-only electrical operation, which is incompatible with many other three-rail items. See the link in the video description for more information about the pros and cons of DC operation. Here is another set I purchased for about $20. This is a Marx Meteor set made in 1974 at the end of Marx train production, featuring the black side frames found only in late Marx production. The set features a small 4-wheel diesel, 2 4-wheel cars, and a caboose. Like the Midnight Flyer, this was one of the few Marx sets that runs on DC power. The set was missing track, power supply, and a box, but again, many similar sets can be found in the $25 to $35 range, often with track and a power supply. One downside of Marx trains is that their couplers are incompatible with Lionel, and they have difficulty operating on some types of Lionel track. So, if you start with Marx, you pretty much have to stay with Marx. And here's a third example, a Williams Army train set from 1983. This one was a gift from Santa, and complete Williams sets are hard to find today, but this is another example of an inexpensive train set. From the small 4-wheel diesel, which is again DC powered, to the cars with non-operating couplers, this set is pretty basic. By contrast, this K-Line Army set of the early 2000s features a scale, twin-motor diesel, an assortment of operating cars, strobe light, and sounds. This set is usually priced in the $200 and up range today in good condition. So you can see that larger, more scale-sized trains with more operating features command a higher price. Here's an example of a mid-price set. Lionel's Allegheny set was produced in several forms throughout the early 1970s. The set contained a die-cast 442 steamer with smoke, electronic sound of steam, and sometimes a whistle. The AC-powered set usually came with 3 cars and a caboose along with a transformer and track. This solid-running, die-cast, smoking 442 makes this set more desirable than the Midnight Flyer, and examples in good condition with track and transformer are usually priced in the $75 to $100 range. With the many varieties of used starter sets available, you should decide what features you want your train to have and what you want to spend, and then shop around to find the best match. But where to shop? If there are train shows and swap meets in your area, particularly those sponsored by train organizations such as the TCA or the NMRA, these are great places to find what you're looking for. You will be surrounded by knowledgeable operators and conductors, and most are willing to answer any questions a newcomer might have. These shows usually feature a test track so you can make sure your items are working properly before you buy. Another excellent source is a local train dealer, especially if they handle older collectible trains, as well as new products. Again, these dealers will have a wealth of knowledge, and many shops will have a repair technician should your train require service. If online listings are your only outlet, try to find local listings, as train sets with track and transformer are heavy and the shipping costs will often be more than the cost of the set. Check the seller's feedback for any red flags and select a seller who accepts returns. Beware of antique dealers and flea markets. Many of these sellers shop estate sales and auctions, and while they do have trains to sell, they often lack any knowledge of the products that they're actually selling. What if my set is missing track? If you want to purchase new track, your best options are Lionel's line of Fast Track and Menards O-Gauge tubular track. Fast Track features a full line of curved switches and crossovers and includes a simulated ballast, so it looks good. It is also available at most Lionel dealers. It is, however, a more expensive option than some others. If, however, you prefer the look of classic tubular track, Menards O-Gauge track is fully compatible with traditional Lionel O-Gauge track, and transition sections are available to work with Fast Track. However, their selection of turnouts is severely limited. While Lionel's O and O27 tubular track has not been produced in more than a decade, there is still plenty of it available. Some dealers at train shows will even give track pieces away to those who need them, especially curbs. See the link in the video description for more information about varieties and differences between O and O27 track. Whether a transformer came with your set or you need to purchase one, there are a few safety concerns to consider. First, inspect the cord for any cracks or deformities that could cause shocks or short circuits. Next, make certain that your transformer has a working circuit breaker. If not, you need to choose a different unit, or if you're electrically inclined, you can add a circuit breaker to the unit. Also, use a voltmeter to test the output of your power supply. Make sure it's within a volt or so of the expected output. If not, there may be damage to the interior windings. And if you require a new transformer, some good choices include Lionel's CW80 and its variants, as well as the classic post-war 1033 and RW models. And if your set has Lion Chief or other remote control, a traditional AC transformer can be used to provide track power if necessary. Speaking of remote-controlled trains, make extra sure to test all of the features before purchase. These sets rely heavily on electronics and, like modern TVs and cell phones, the electronics will eventually fail. Also, make sure your remote control is a match for your locomotive. They are sometimes not compatible with other remotes. After your train set is up and running and you've caught the train bug for good, what are the next steps? Well, you can begin your lifetime journey of fun by checking out helpful videos like these and explore the many possibilities of three-rail O-gauge train operation. Speaking of videos, I hope you enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed making it, and if so, please tell your friends and neighbors. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment about your favorite starter set. In any case, get the trains running and keep them running, and we'll catch you next time with more toy train tips and tricks.